Hello, everybody. My name's James. Welcome to another Planet FPL Clash of the Correspondents and ahead of Double Game Week 24. I've got our doublers on the pod and it's the Merseyside Derby. Firstly, let me introduce you to our Everton correspondent. It's Sean Norton. How are you, Sean?
Hi James, I'm pretty good, thanks, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you, mate. And our Liverpool correspondent, Dan Lord's here. How are you, Dan?
Yeah, I'm good too, James. Yeah.
Good stuff. So, Sean, I just want to pull you up on a message of yours. It's Wednesday, April 24th, 10:51 p.m. last year. Can we make the Derby Clash of the Correspondents a regular thing, please? You ask and you shall receive. How do you feel? I noticed that technically the game's 2 weeks away, basically, isn't it?
Ages away, yeah.
Is it therefore not on your mind at this moment?
It hasn't been, no, to be honest.
I'll take it's the same for you. Is it, Dan? Too much going on in between first?
Yeah, I think we got 4 games, haven't we, before we even play them?
Uh, Three, I think, for yourselves. Yeah, what
Oh, we
Bournemouth?
got PSV, Bournemouth,
Oh,
you
BSV, of course. Yeah.
guys, then Plymouth, and then Everton.
Yes, it does feel like quite a long way away. Yeah, the game's obviously 16 days away. Sean, we'll start with yourselves and Everton. Sean Dyche obviously gone. That was a decision I feel like went down well, and it probably feels even better a few games on now, I'm guessing.
Yeah, yeah. We pretty much all saw it coming. Everton fans, anyway. Um, the writing was on the wall with regards to the lack of goals and some of the insane comments the manager was coming out with, and we very much sort of give the impression that to the outside world that he had no idea on what he could possibly do to help the team in any way. So, as it transpired, he basically resigned anyway. But he wanted his money. He wanted to quit and get paid, and the Freakins weren't going to have that. So he ended up getting the sack.
The if you could add wins to our run, it would be a good run. Comment will be a legacy forever, wouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah. That last week there was a few, to be fair. But that one, yeah, was the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back, without a doubt.
What was your initial reaction to David Moyes?
I was quite happy, to be honest. Thought that was the most logical and sensible appointment to make. Because I think I'm certainly not under any illusion about the quality of the squad. Most supporters are aware that it's not a great group, but it's better than what it was showing. Just forget results for a minute. Just it got to the point where, for a large part of the season, the team was just making zero attempt to attack when it had the ball outside of the set piece, and you can stomach that maybe for the odd game or two against a Man City or an Arsenal or someone, but you can't be at home to teams down the bottom half of the table and be showing no signs of trying to win a game of football. And everyone just got fed up of it, and so yeah, it was the logical move to make, because I think Moyes is the same in regards of he's not gonna sort of go gung go trying to make 700 passes a game. He'll be that mix though of pragmatism, but actually he knows what Everton fans expect and what they want from a team, and as well as giving you it all, it's about trying to put teams under pressure and win a game of football. And he's shown straight away that he's hit the ground running, and straight away the players they've been vocal in talking about how he's given them totally different instructions than what they were getting, and there's an attacking intent, and that's all Everton fans want. Go out and try and give people a game, and we know a lot of games we're not going to win, but this squad should be capable of getting enough wins to not have to keep looking over our shoulder all the time.
Not fair. Is it fair to say mixed opinion on his return from Evertonians as an overall? I imagine everyone's
Yeah,
quite happy right now following the last two league victories, but I heard plenty of
yeah,
discontent at the time of the appointment as well.
yeah. I'd probably say about 70-30, something like that. But most of it just stems um, football fans are very fickle, aren't they? And
No.
you know, so about the worst thing a player or a manager can do is say something derogatory about a team, isn't it? And everyone remembers it because the whole thing where when he went to Manchester United, he ran down his contract, so he left, for free, and then he tried to get Leighton Baines on the cheap and Fellaini on the cheap, and then Evertonians had a pop at him, and he come out and he had a bit of a pop back, and a lot of Evertonians just can't get past that. So that was the main reason that I saw, alongside seeing it as a not a progressive move, and after the likes of Benitez and Dyche, how well Bournemouth are doing, how well Brighton have been doing. A lot of people wanted Everton to go out and show that they're more forward thinking now under the Friedkin group, but I think you've got to do it in stages, and the position that we're in, realistically, halfway through the season when we're in trouble, you're not likely to go out and get one of those managers without it coming with massive risk. So I think Moyes was a sensible, low risk appointment.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, I expressed concern if you went for like something trendy from the continent and it came in and started wanting to play like keep ball and stuff, you didn't have the players to do that straight away. So my only surprise with it was that the length of the contract was at 2.5 years, because I thought it would be foreseen as a short-term thing, get over the line, and then they get their own thing in. What was your view, Dan, as a, I was going to say neutral, obviously rival, but what's your view on Dyche going and Moyes coming in for Everton?
It's similar to you, really. I think Dyche had to go. He'd run his course, hadn't he? And yeah, it wasn't going to get any better. He'd shown that it was kind of consistently poor, really. Moyes, I suppose, like Sean said, he understands Everton better than anyone and understands what the fans want. And it was a little bit like Liverpool bringing Dalglish back when they were in. Obviously, it wasn't as poor a state as Everton were, but you know the crowd aren't going to get on the back. And obviously, it's not the same. He did have some, opposers to it. Like Sean said, it's probably a 70-30. But all in all, yeah, I think, like you said, you didn't want to risk getting some kind of foreign manager in who wanted to try and get something out of these players that just clearly isn't there.
Sean, 23 points now from 22 games. You know what I always say, mate? If you're above a point per game, you're not in trouble. There's a little buffer there. 6 points to Leicester, seven to Wolves and Ipswich, following the two wins against Tottenham and Brighton. You must be feeling pretty confident of staying up now. Oh, don't give me that doom and gloom, mate.
No, I mean, obviously a lot more confident than I was a few weeks ago. But we suffered two pretty big injuries against Brighton, so we're going to have to try to get reinforcements in, because it wasn't a massive squad anyway. We went from we had for about one day we had four strikers available, and now we're down to one.
We'll come back onto some of that personnel. I take it that's where the club will look to do business this month, is it? Certainly attacking
Yeah,
positions at least.
yeah. I mean, they were looking at that anyway. I mean, even before the weekend, Moyes was sort of, because he got asked about the left back situation, and he was a bit more open than a lot of managers are, I guess, which I found quite refreshing. Um, so he basically just said, almost paraphrasing, obviously, that we will be looking for a left back, but we've got more problems elsewhere that
Yeah.
we need to sort out, and realistically, left backs, lower down in the priority list. So yeah, definitely offensive signings. Hopefully, we can make some.
And obviously takeover has obviously fully gone through now. That obviously give the club a bit of an uplift, or at least the supporters as well, right?
Yeah, yeah, massive, massive relief, because obviously they come in and then it looked like they were walking away, but they done that when they bought Roma. They done the same thing. So there was some people suggesting that they were always likely to come back. They were just trying to get a better deal for themselves, and thankfully that was the case. But yeah, I don't think we're going to find ourselves a better owner than the Friedkin group in terms of their ability to run a football club from the financial sort of competent side of things. Yeah, I don't think you can question them there.
Okay. And Dan, Liverpool obviously doing great, 53 points from 22 played, 6 points ahead of Arsenal with a game in hand. I take it Arsenal would be the only challenger for you now, would it?
Yeah, I think that's the only team I'm worried about, really. Um, I mean, City might put a run together, but I think they're too far back now. We'd have to capitulate quite badly for them to get into the title race. I think Arsenal for a long time have been, even when they weren't, like second or third, I was still kind of worried about them more than anybody else.
Yeah, I mean, if City won every game left, they'd be on 86.
And that ain't gonna happen, is it? Anyway, so
Well, no, I shouldn't think so, mate. But I don't even know if that'd be enough anyway. I, I think it'll be about that. We'll probably win it. So, I mean, you can't see City winning 15 games in a row at this stage. But Arsenal only 6 points more than that, so they can only get to a maximum of 92. It's clearly going to be less of a total than it's been in previous years, unless you and Arsenal both put the sort of runs together, sort of a la you and City did in the 18-19 season. You must be extremely confident from here that you're going to win it, right? Without being arrogant about it.
to be honest, I'm old enough to have watched a lot of football, and I don't take anything for granted. So um, confident-ish, I suppose, but until it's kind of almost signed and sealed, I wouldn't get carried away. I don't think I've seen enough football to know how things can go tits up, and I've seen enough Liverpool challenges and title races to see it as well. So yeah, it's a fantastic position to be in at this stage, and I wouldn't have dreamt it at the start of the season, but I'm not taking anything for granted yet.
No, 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 no. But you're definitely in the pole position. There's no doubt
Yeah,
about
I'd
that
rather
at this
be where
stage.
we are than Arsenal, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's a case of whether I'd rather be where Everton are or vice versa. But actually, it's near enough the same place, actually, Sean. I'm one place above you and you've got a game in hand. So who's more likely to go down, you or me?
None of us.
We're okay, are we?
Well, yeah, yeah.
Okay, fine. Do you expect Liverpool to do any business, Dan? Because obviously you didn't do anything really in the summer, particularly.
Yeah, apart from Chiesa, really,
Yeah.
was the only one through the door, and that's worked out well, hasn't it? So it doesn't look like it. There's been talk of the young kind of centre back, left back from Ajax who was at the stadium at the weekend. Hato, is he called? And it is a position we need, like a left back, left centre back. That'd be good. But I think the rumor is that he's not looking to move until the summer anyway. And I think Real Madrid are hot on his heels as well. So yeah, it might be something out of left field that we're not really talking about. There's been talk of Turkey. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. The
At
guy who
Leon.
plays for Leon, yeah, who's like a flair player, really. He's
Yeah, talented.
yeah, talented. So I don't know really. I mean, if there was a lot of talk, a few weeks ago, but this was mainly media about a left back. Robertson's dropped off. Simicast, is he good enough to be the first choice left back? Talk about Kirkes, talk about Robinson, but I don't think any of them will happen in this window if they do happen. So yeah, I wouldn't surprise me if we didn't sign anyone.
So we're pre-recording this Monday night, so it's January 27th. Van Dijk, Trent, Mo.
No idea. I've no idea what's happening.
What's
It's
happening, mate?
bizarre, isn't it? It's bizarre. Um, I don't know. One minute it looks like they're all signing. The next minute it looks like it's up in the air. I don't know what's going on.
I
It's
saw Karen Carney on the Goal Zone on TNT from one of the Champions League nights last week,
mhm.
and she put the suggestion out there that she wondered if it was a case that they were waiting for each other. That they didn't want to just announce one and then people be like, "So is the other one leaving?" Like they possibly plan to announce two or three together. I had the impression from her that maybe she knew something. Maybe
Right.
the media does know something and something is done and it's being kept quiet at the moment.
Yeah, potentially, but you'd think if someone like she knows, you'd think it'd be more in the open. Why is she privy to that information and lots of other kind of outlets aren't. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it would make sense to do it like that. to stop all the speculation, Slot just keeps batting off the questions whenever they come to kind of press conferences. I don't know. You just read signs and signals from players, when they're, during matches when they score goals and things like that. And then when they're interviewed, they always talk about, well, I'm not sure how many games I've got left, kind of thing for Liverpool. So, I'll just take it a week at a time as they come. So it's bizarre, really. I'd have expected them to sign all three. I think we spoke about it last time. I'm one of those that I wouldn't begrudge Trent leaving. If he wants to go to Real Madrid and try something different, then so be it. You know what I mean? He's won everything he can win at Liverpool. Whereas a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'll be fuming if he goes. He's a Liverpool lad. He needs to stay." But what does he need to stay for? If I was a footballer at the top of my game, I'd like to experience playing in a different country and a different team. So I don't know.
I suppose there's the argument that he'll stay, he'd potentially become captain, become a legend, and part of the argument is if he moves on, then he's not.
Yeah, I mean, it could, yeah, tarnish his name a little bit if he moves on, but that doesn't necessarily need to be the case. I suppose it's the way he does it, and as long as he doesn't come back and sign for like City, Chelsea, United, or something like that, then I'm sure he'll be remembered as one of the Liverpool greats, regardless.
I think if you look at Real Madrid's transfers over the last few years, people have begun to smell the idea that they're not just going to come in and pay 150 million for a player. I'm not saying Trent would be that much, but running out the contracts obviously opens you up to the ability to go there. And yes, I don't think anyone could begrudge the try something different and go and play in Real Madrid. I mean, if he runs his contract and runs out in a Manchester United shirt next year, that's obviously a very different conversation, isn't it? But that's not going to happen.
No, that's
what's your gut, Dan? Is he gone in the summer? Is he, Trent?
Yeah, I kind of can't decide, but if I had to, put money on it, I'd say he's probably gone.
And Mo?
I'd like to think Mo and Verge will stay.
Feels very calm around Van Dijk. Doesn't seem any real concern about that one. That's the vibe.
Because he always seems calm, doesn't he? He's not really done
maybe
any interviews, and when Salah's had that interview that got a lot of kind of attention, that was saying, he wants to stay at Liverpool, but he's not had an offer yet and things like that. I can't believe that they've not had offers. I like you think there's lots of kind of conversations in the background. They're playing the club a little bit off each other with their agents, and they're all trying to get the best deal for themselves. The problem with Liverpool is generally they don't splash money a lot on wages like other clubs. And I think if they end up, paying through the roof on contracts of these players, then it sets a precedence going forward for everybody else. You had at City for a long time, you had a lot of players on 350,000 plus a week. And Liverpool have kind of only just kind of touched on that with Salah's last contract. So, if Virg and Trent, start going up there, then, other players are going to start asking, well, what about me? I mean, if you look at Diaz, I don't know what he is now, but he was on 40k when he came in, and I don't think that's changed.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing, isn't it? I know people are very much, kind of give him the paper, let him sign whatever he wants, but there will be a limit here where Liverpool have to say no with Salah, isn't there?
Well, you have to, because if you want to run a club successfully, you can't just throw money. Yes, he's been a legend and he's been unbelievable, but that's only going to go down, isn't it? Now his output, you would think. I mean, I know we've been saying that for a couple of years, and he's in fantastic shape and just seems to get better and better. But you're not buying a 24-year-old with potential, are you? You're buying someone at the top of the game, where the only way is down, isn't it?
Well, I guess that's the argument, isn't it? Even if you give him 1 million a week for 2 years, will it cost you sort of circa just over 100 million? What you got to pay to replace him?
Yeah,
You
exactly. But
can't anyway.
yeah, like I say, my argument goes back to, but then you're destroying the wage structure of the club
Yeah.
to do that, and then you're opening a can of worms there, I think.
And the team seems together. I think that's a real credit of this season. Well, we didn't know how that would work out with obviously Klopp going. Sean, difficult question for you. Title race, do you see it going to them? He looks thrilled that I asked him that.
Yeah,
On a different question.
He just threw up in his mouth then.
No, I reckon Arsenal are gonna sign two dead good strikers, and Liverpool are going to get a spate of injuries, and then Arsenal win the league.
Dan, remind me not to invite him back, for God's sakes.
You asked him what he thought, not what he wants.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Right, Sean, tell us about these injuries then that picked up at Brighton, and how concerning is it for what happens next?
Yeah, it is very concerning because we don't really seem to be on the face of it close to getting anybody in. So I'm hoping that they're just a lot better at keeping things quiet under the new owners. But like time's running out, isn't it? I don't know. I don't know who we could possibly get at this stage in the window would be able to come in, fill people with confidence that they can hit the ground running. I think we're up against it. Beto is, bless him, he's a very likable lad, but he just doesn't seem cut out for the Premier League. So it does leave us really short up front.
So,
Um,
so Breuer, we think out till April-ish, and even
yeah.
speculation that he would potentially maybe get sent back to Chelsea, because I think that would maybe open up another loan option for you.
But that was the talk, but it
Quieten
seems to
down.
be quiet, yeah. And then Alan Myers was talking, a local journalist was talking at the weekend, saying that as far as he's aware, he's not getting sent back.
Okay. Well, Chelsea probably won't use him anyway. So I mean, from the player's perspective, it's probably better off staying with yourselves and hoping he can help you in the running after the March international break. Calvert-Lewin obviously looked like hamstring injury at
Yeah.
Brighton. We've got to assume he's out the double here, haven't we?
Oh yeah, yeah, he is, yeah, definitely.
And Mangala, we got time recording any. I know you were saying on socials earlier, a bit concerned it might be an ACL injury.
Yeah, that's the talk today. And then he's posted himself on his own Instagram a bit of a inspirational quote about recovery, basically. So I think his season's gonna be finished.
That would be a real shame because him and Idrissa Gana Gueye had actually struck up a bit of a relationship recently. I guess therefore James Garner's return is like perfect timing from that perspective.
Yeah, James Garner and it's Tim, that used to play for Villa. He's back.
Iroquois. Tim, who used to play for Villa. It would have just been easy to say Iroquois, but okay. Yeah, he's close as well, isn't he? So actually, it might be one out and two back, hopefully, possibly for you.
Yeah.
Dan owns Calvert-Lewin, Sean. What should
Why?
he? Well, he's not the only one that's taken that plunge, and I understand it. What should he do? Don't say the obvious sell. That's clear. But anyone with Calvert-Lewin is going to be thinking about Ndiaye now, aren't they?
Yeah, I just don't. I don't see. It depends where you are, doesn't it? Like with transfers and stuff, and whether you just wanna have a gamble. So many fantasy managers just wanna play the gamble of a double and hope something sticks. Um, so if you're that way inclined, then and Dye's really the only player him or I really like the look of Lindstrom against Villa and Spurs, and I was a bit disappointed. I mean, overall the team wasn't as good against Brighton, but I was
Well,
let I,
Brighton didn't decide to give you the freedom of a city, mate. That's probably quite
that
helpful.
that is very true, but I was hoping to see a little bit more to be able to sort of tip him up, because he takes most of the set pieces now. Dwight McNeil's out. But yeah, I think it'd have to be in die if you were going to, but I wouldn't touch an Everton attacker personally.
Dan, reaction to that, and were you thinking about Ndiaye?
Well, no, I've already done it because I had two transfers, and actually I've just left Calvert-Lewin on the bench and brought Pickford and I think I brought Branthwaite in or Tarkovsky.
You've gone for it, and yeah, he's going to have treble Everton for the double, Sean.
Well,
Well,
one of them's injured, so double.
Kinda.
he's probably very aware at how often Liverpool don't score a Goodison.
Go on then, Dan. Do the stat.
Yeah, we were talking about it previously, and I kind of picked up on it myself, and Sean knows about it. But we've Everton have kept 5 clean sheets at home in the last 7 Merseyside derbies. 4 of them 0-0s and a 2-0 win last season.
Does that matter when we're looking
No, but
forward?
no, but like Sean said, they don't have much going forward. So I think Everton's best chance of getting anything out of the game, I would think, is to be quite defensive, and they're good at that, aren't they? You know, they'll stick in, and Pickford's a good keeper. So I think it wouldn't surprise me if it was a 0-0 again.
I was going to say, yeah, so they've kept 5 clean sheets in the last 7 meetings at Goodison Park, but then you've kept 4 because there was this run of 3 consecutive 0-0s previously before, I think before COVID, I want to say.
Mm.
So, I mean, you regularly go there and keep a clean sheet yourself, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, Generally speaking, Sean, are you saying do it or don't on Ndiaye? If you're a Calvert-Lewin owner, specifically.
I wouldn't. I think that's like
It's not
you,
many others to go to, is there?
you're
That's the
doubling
problem.
down on.
Not better.
Definitely not better.
Chimiti, still
No,
out, is he?
he is. Yeah, he was coming back, and then something's happened. They're not divulging too much information, but it looks like he's certainly out at the minute. It looks like he's probably going to be out
I,
for a fair bit.
I don't think you could gamble better anyway, just purely because of kind of what we discussed. Is clear Everton want to buy attacking players, or at least get some loans done or something.
Yeah,
And we have to factor in the game's not till the 12th of February,
yeah,
and
exactly.
the window don't close till Monday.
No,
So at least with Ndiaye, you know his place in the team is
yeah,
secure, whether it was left, central, whatever it's going to be. He's going to play as long as
yeah.
he's.
I mean, Beto was heavily linked with a move back to Italy anyway. Um, Now, Moyes has spoke a bit about wanting experienced players that can like hit the ground running. So, for example, I'm just to pluck a name out. Don't you wouldn't be surprised if by the time the game gets played, Beto's gone and we've got someone like Danny Ings up front, for example. So, I definitely wouldn't touch Beto.
Okay. Moyes has worked with him in the past. I was a former Liverpool player as well, Dan. And
Uh,
Danny Ings. Not sure, obviously, if he'd be open to that. I guess at his stage of the career, if he's going to play, he probably would be open to that sort of move, I should imagine. You mentioned Lindstrom, Sean, who's played this kind of hybrid role on the right, filling in very defensively without the ball, but also looking fairly threatening going forward. He's 5 million, attacking returns so far 0. That would be one hell of a tip up, Sean, if that's what you're recommending.
no, well, I did say I wanted to be able to recommend it, but just as a something different to go for. But like you say, we're not. There's no way we're going to go into the game and be as offensive as we were against Tottenham, for example. It's just not. It's not going to happen. We're gonna play similar to what we did in that second half against Brighton, and just basically defend and then try to pick our moments to get at Liverpool on the counter attack.
How important is the narrative to you of this being the last derby at Goodison? Does it matter or not?
Yeah, I mean it does, but not as much as I don't think it matters as much as it would have if we hadn't won last season. I think I think winning last season was massive because we hadn't won a home derby in like forever. So I think if we hadn't have won last season, then yeah, I mean we couldn't have left Goodison, without beating them. But because we won last year, I think that means that there's not going to be like a desperation to win the game, and obviously because we've picked up some points since Moyes has come in as well, so there's that bit of breathing space. So I think it'll be more of a relaxed isn't the right word, but I think it'll help because there won't be that horrible Goodison tension attached to the game that would work in Liverpool's favour if it was like that.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it
So I
does.
think it will be more of um, the occasion
You
and the
had your release
state.
last year, essentially.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
yeah. Whereas you'd have been, yeah, sort of like 12 years without beating them at Goodison, and you feel like no one can remember it. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Dan, do you see, in terms of the game in a couple of weeks, the fact that you lost this fixture last season, is that, do you read that as a good or a negative? In the sense, what I mean by that is, it almost, because of the occasion of the last game at Goodison, like Sean said, it's not actually as heightened as it might have been. And does it also focus your minds going into this one because it had been so long since you'd lost there?
I don't think so because I'm not sure how much that plays on players' minds because a lot of them were even there, years back, and they don't remember that it's been this long since Everton won. Obviously, they've got a few players who have been there a few years that will, but I don't think it would matter
I
at
guess
all. I
maybe,
think they just want the 3 points and that's it.
yeah, no, I guess probably what I'm saying is, do you think there maybe even be a greater determination this year because you lost the fixture last year?
Just a great determination because we want to win the title. I think I don't think it will play into it last year's result, if I'm honest.
Okay. So what we've learnt so far is the game normally doesn't have that many goals. There have been anomalies in there. I think you had a 4-1 win one
Four
year,
one
Dan.
two two. Yeah, there
There's a
was a
there was a
4-1
two
and a
two in
two
the
two.
COVID season as well, but largely it's quite low scoring. Before Everton comes around, you've obviously got this really difficult game at the weekend down at Bournemouth, who are absolutely flying. Mo Salah, triple captaincy, yes or no?
Well, I'm doing it, but that's a bit of FOMO in there, I think. I don't know if there's a better time to use the triple captain, and it could completely flunk, or he could get 2 or 3 goals over the two fixtures. He'll always be in and around it, regardless of how the fixtures play out. So yeah, why not? I mean, I've not used any chips yet, so those people who've used the triple captain, then it's gone off the table, and people are thinking about assistant manager and things like that. But yeah, I'm just going to do it and get it out of the way, and hope it's the right result. If I don't do Salah, I'll do another Liverpool player. Because
Oh, really?
only because I'm flagging so badly. So I'm not gonna make up the ground doing the same as the pack, am I? I've got to do something different to kind of, yeah, change that, I suppose.
Okay. Just on that then, can I ask who your choices would be then?
Um, Probably Trent if I don't do Salah, or hold your ears for this one. I was almost debating Pickford.
I honestly, I held my breath just to make sure Sean laughed first.
See, if I go Salah, so does everybody else.
You're
So
not going to triple captain an Everton player, Dan. Sure. No
well,
wonder you're flagging.
I haven't done it. I haven't done anything stupid so far. So this is the only thing that can kind of maybe make a difference. Because if I do Salah like everybody else, it's just going to be the same as everybody else. No, I'm not going to make any ground.
Yeah, but you also summed it up right. It is the FOMO that he only has to score once in the two games, and he's probably popping up like a 16 to 18 pointer, something like that, and you're in trouble.
Yeah, I'll probably bottle it, but I'm tempted to go elsewhere.
Sean, dare I ask? Salah triple captaincy?
I have. You're asking me.
If you're going to do it.
I have not got my triple captaincy. I wasted mine on Haaland a long
Okay.
time ago.
Who do you think you'll be captain this double game week?
Who will I be captaining?
Don't
Yeah.
say Jordan Pickford after all that, mate.
Yeah, Dan's inspired me.
He's gone Mykolenko. All right, okay.
I'm going to double check who it's on now. I have no idea who it is.
Yeah, make sure you double check before you press any buttons down. I think we've learned that this week, right?
It's on Salah at the moment, but yeah,
We can't see that, Dan, but thank
you
you. I mean,
can't
we
see
believe
that.
you. We take your word for it, mate.
But Pickford and Mykolenko are in there,
I
definitely.
take it, Sean. You're just reluctant to say here, are you?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, leave it
go
there.
obvious.
That's fine. Okay, what Liverpool have you got, Sean?
Um, the
Salah.
keeper, the keeper. Who else have I got? Got Gakpo and Mo
Salah.
Salah.
So you're on Alisson, Gakpo, Salah. I presume you're leaving it at that, are you?
No, no, not.
Ooh.
No, I think I'm gonna potentially put Pickford in and then Trent.
Oh, that works money wise, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You advise that, Dan, or just? I mean, he's putting another doubler in by going Pickford as well.
Well, I might be triple captaining him, so I can't advise against it, can
Where have you got this logic from?
I?
Okay. What three Liverpool are you on, Dan?
I'm on Trent, Mo, and Diaz. I've had Diaz for a while, and yeah, he's been a pain in the ass, especially when Gakpo's been popping up with all the points.
Is that why he's been a pain in the arse though? Just that Gakpo's been popping off a little bit recently.
Mm.
Are you tempted to flip this about and force Gakpo in place of Diaz?
Well, I can't because of transfers. If I had more transfers, I'd probably look at it, but I just got two Everton in instead, two defensive Everton, and they're my moves.
Gakpo's got one away goal all season. It's two challenging away games.
Yeah, I think if we're likely to score more goals, I'd say it'll be against Bournemouth than Everton. I think the way Bournemouth play will suit us a bit better than Everton because Bournemouth will have intent and will go for it, and we're more likely to get spaces and create chances. I think against that with Everton potentially playing a back three. I think it'll be hard to find spaces.
It's worth saying, I think City are back fourth, I want to say, at the moment. Bournemouth have beaten them, just thumped Forest, who's third, and they beat Arsenal, who's second, all at home.
Yeah.
So they're very capable of giving you a very difficult game at the weekend. If someone wanted to buy Gakpo or Diaz new now, Dan, is it
Gakpo.
why has it got to be him? Well, not got to be, but why is that the favouritism?
It just not only has he got the points, he's also looked more threatening. Diaz has been on the periphery of the games a little bit, if I'm honest, and he's been pulled off, 60, 70 minutes in most of the games. He seems to be weird to say because of his ability. He feels like he's kind of struggling with confidence a little bit in front of goal. So yeah, I think Gakpo's on fire at the moment, and
Since game week 5, Diaz has scored 3 league goals. Those were scored against my Tottenham and Sudge's West Ham, so those don't even count, mate, do they?
probably not. No.
Yeah, I think it's Gakpo, but I also think the decision for many people lies in what they're selling. So, like, if you're not sure, okay, yeah, fine, it's Gakpo. If people got a problem in midfield, and there's hypothetically Gordon picked up an injury this week, you're going to end up just punting Diaz under that sort of circumstance, I think, aren't you?
Yeah, I think the only other potential pump might be Szoboszlai if you haven't got the money for Diaz, but I wouldn't advise it.
Okay. A few people have been asking about him. 6.3. That feels like to me I'd rather find the extra 1.2 for
Yeah,
Diaz.
he's been quite attacking, and he's often the first press as well. He's the way we play. He's often the first press because he's got such good legs and energy. And he's been getting in the points, and he just recently. So he could go off, but when you're kind of playing this game, you're going on kind of probabilities, aren't you? And it's at least probability than Gakpo or Diaz scoring.
Okay. Do we know that Jota will be ruled out by the time the Merseyside Derby comes round? Which again is
They've
16
not.
days away from now.
Yeah, it's not really been confirmed really since it happened. It was like a few weeks, so I think potentially he could be back, but that you wouldn't want to make that move prior to the start of the game week with it being such a big gap in between. You probably won't know that when you're picking your team for kind of Bournemouth and at the start of 24.
So your 24 works out. You've got Bournemouth Saturday, second leg against Tottenham on the Thursday, Plymouth on the Sunday, Everton Wednesday, then 25 is Wolves Sunday, and a free midweek afterwards is particularly helpful there as well. Do you see him going near enough his full strength in the league games?
I think when you say full strength, then yeah, I think Salah, Gakpo, McAllister, Gravenberg, Trent, Allison, and Van Dijk. Almost definitely, I'd be surprised if they didn't play both. I think Tsimikas and Robertson probably gets one each. Kanate, depending on how he's how he is fitness wise, will probably play both. If not, Kwanzaa will play one. And I think Szoboszlai, Jones, Elliott, they could move around, as could Nunes for Diaz. So I think they're the ones that you'd put your money on kind of
Yeah.
playing both games.
What do you expect in Eindhoven this Wednesday? Is he going to take players or not? What do we think is going to happen?
I think I'd like him to take all the kids and a few kind of,
You are
squad
guaranteed
players.
top two. It literally doesn't matter.
No, but he talks a lot about momentum, does Slot, and making sure people have got kind of their minutes in the legs and momentum. So, like I said earlier about someone like Diaz, struggling for kind of some output really and a bit of confidence. Maybe he goes there, with Chiesa, with Nunes, and then Elliott will almost definitely play. Quanta will play. I think Bradley will play. I think,
Yeah, I mean, you still put a decent team out. We're
yeah,
not talking about putting
there'll be a
18-year-olds out.
mix. I don't think there'll be like loads of kids like they're expecting, but I think we'll probably finish the game with a lot of kids, like we did in the last Champions League match
I
with a
mean,
lot
we
of them
have
on the
had this
bench.
in the past where you've gone through and Klopp's ended up playing a much stronger team than people have expected, and it's left a lot of head scratching in the past. It really has.
Yeah,
Like, if the likes of Gakpo and Salah play on Wednesday, that's going to cause some confusion, isn't it?
well, it's madness really because it's not just
It's also who you're
kind of
playing
tiring them
Saturday.
out, but it's the risk of injury, isn't it?
I mean, with respect, you're not playing Ipswich at home again this Saturday. You're playing like the hardest working team in the league, arguably in Bournemouth.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I hope he played. I wouldn't bother me if he played a complete new 11. It wouldn't bother me whatsoever. But I don't think he will. He'll probably change six or seven, maybe.
Listen, you would happily take a slapping on Wednesday night if it meant you won the next four games afterwards, right? So
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah, completely get that. Okay. Defensively, Dan, the order is the pricing. Is that kind of correct? Is it Trent, then Van Dijk, then Canate? Is there
Yeah,
any
Trent.
reason? Is there any reason, no money, no object, to pick Canate over Van Dijk? There's not, is there?
I wouldn't have thought so. I mean, he is a threat at set pieces, is Canate, but Verge is more of a threat.
Yeah,
Whether he's,
absolutely.
a million and a bit, is it about 1.2 million difference between them? I don't know. But you got, you would hope Canate plays both, but you're guaranteed that Verge will, barring injury.
Yeah, okay. Sean, your two centre backs. If people was asking specifically Braithwaite versus Tarkowski, because they're looking for that 15-pointer heroic in one of the two games, what's your preference from those two?
Well, it wouldn't be one of those two.
I knew you were going to say that, which is why I specifically asked that question.
I knew you were going to do that.
Me too.
Fine, take it however you want to take it. Sean, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so I would go with O'Brien. Moyes is quite quickly become a massive fan of him, and he openly come out and said he wanted to find a way of getting him into the team. Um, it was clearly a massive dig at the previous manager who bought him in the summer and never give him a look in. But Jake O'Brien's been very, very impressive since he's come into the team, and he had a really good goal scoring record before he signed for Everton. So playing for Leon. So I personally, given the size of him and the fact that Leicester ain't great at the back, and I do think, I mean, we done it last year in the derby against Liverpool, didn't we? We scored from a corner. But the way the game's likely to go, set pieces will probably be our best chance of getting a goal. And the fact that Ipswich, I think, scored from a corner, didn't they? Their goal at Anfield, lad at the back post. And that tends to be where we tend to put our corners as well. So Jake O'Brien, for me, would be where I'd go.
Is that because of money, i.e. 0.3 cheaper? Because it has to be an element of risky. I completely get what you're saying that Moyes attacked him quickly, wants to get him in the team. But the other two centre backs are 100% going to play unless they get injured, right? That's not the case here with O'Brien, is it?
Well, it's I just can't see any reason why he would now
And
take him out the team. So, it helps with the budget. A little bit cheaper. So therefore, it may be an option, whereas other people, some people wouldn't have the money to go for one of the other two, and then end up with Mykolenko. Obviously, if you've got Mykolenko now, you're going to keep him. But if you were just going to buy an Everton defender because of the double game week, I would be getting Jake O'Brien.
Isn't it as a consequence though of O'Brien being in the team that Mykolenko is pushing higher?
He is a little bit in open play, but I mean, there's just there's nothing from him. You're only going to get a return off Mykolenko, like this fantasy asset thing where if you have a shot and it hits somebody and it falls to someone else who then whacks it in the goal, he gets an assist. Well, actual real assists, you've got almost no chance of getting. His quality from crossing and passing is really, really, really poor.
Okay. And I guess as you'd mentioned, there is a small chance here that you actually even invest in a left back as well.
Well, I think that would be more in the summer. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So if you've got Mykolenko, he's as nailed as you're going to get.
Okay. If you were on free hit this week, Sean, what free Everton would you go with?
Well,
You
Pickford,
took so long then. I thought you was going to say like Southall, Watson, Andy
yeah,
Gray.
Pickford, O'Brien. I don't think you can. I just don't think there's anyone that offensively that. Oh, it's such a shame because Dom would have
He did
actually
play well
been.
against us. I know it's us, but he did look back on it.
He did against Villa. I mean, he had some decent chances. Obviously, he didn't finish them, but he just looked at it, and the stats were all pointing his way. Um, it's just sod's law. He didn't really get injured under Dyche, and Dyche wasn't really interested in attacking very much. And as soon as he gets a manager that's more prepared to attack, he starts playing well, and then he gets injured. But I can't really think of. Yeah, I'd love to be able to recommend somebody offensively, but
It's Ndiaye, surely, no?
I just don't.
He's not
Yeah,
fun.
I mean, if I had to pick a third, it'd be Ndiaye.
Okay. Dan, free Liverpool.
Yeah, same three we said. I think Salah, Gakpo, Trent.
Okay. Do you feel like Trent needs forcing in for those who don't have or not?
No, if you don't have enough money, I'd go Van Dijk, and if not, Canate. Yeah, I mean he's clearly the best option, but he's expensive, isn't he? So
Yeah. How important do you see the first game for you, Sean, against Leicester at the weekend? A very dangerous team away from home. What are you laughing at? I just got to take it at the moment. How big is that one first and foremost this weekend, Sean?
Well, it's a really important game, in it, especially after their result at the weekend. It's as diplomatic as I can put it, James.
Well, yeah. I mean, if they win again against you, they're right back amongst it, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah. So had they not picked up 3 points, it would have been obviously that much more, not comfortable as in guaranteed to win, but it takes a bit of the nerves out of it. But it's gonna be a tough game, like I said. No, Calvert-Lewin's out, Mangala's out, so they're gonna throw everything at it, aren't they? Because they want the most amount of people that are down there and in it. The better for them. So it's not gonna be an easy game by any stretch.
Yeah, it's a big game for them, particularly they play Arsenal afterwards as well. And it's worth saying, Sean, one of the appeals about Everton is your fixtures up until the blank. It's good. Right? Palace, United, Brentford, Wolves, West Ham. There's a good run of fixtures after the Merseyside derby as well,
Yeah,
mate.
it's our best little run, really. Because then it goes horrendous, and then it gets a little bit better right at the end of the season.
I think for yourself, Dan, as well, I think these next three away games are massive. So the two in the double and then the Manchester City game in 26. I think you kind of win any two of them three. That will leave you looking really, really strong. And most people have got the feeling this double's not good though, and we've said it. I don't think it is. The history of the rivalry, the derby, the historical results in that game, plus Bournemouth and what it is at the moment. I mean, how do you read that game on Saturday at Bournemouth?
Um, we've always had a good record against Bournemouth, touch wood. I, I'm more confident of getting a result against Bournemouth than I am at Everton.
That's interesting. Why?
I just think they'll play into our hands a little bit more. They'll just leave more gaps, more spaces because they'll try and win the game because that's the way they play, and maybe they will. They'll press the life out of us, which is what they do really well. But if we beat that press, they'll be in trouble with our front three.
Okay. How do you feel about assistant manager Chip Dan?
Um, I don't know really. I don't know how I feel about it. Um, like I said earlier, because I'm so far behind everyone else, I want to punt it on somebody that's got a group of fixtures of teams above them. So you
Makes
kind
sense,
of
yeah.
looking at that kind of bonus on top of it. I don't know. I'm not even worried about it just yet. I'll get kind of this double out of the way and then start thinking.
Would you rather go Salah triple than that on slot now, do you think? I guess
Yeah, I just don't
that's almost
know.
what you're saying already, isn't it? Almost. So
Yeah, because I don't know what other doubles could be. There's nothing that's kind of
I
like
don't know
it's
if you've heard
definitely
this.
going to be
I don't know if
this.
you've
It's
heard this
definitely going to be
podcast,
that.
Dan, on chip strategy. And
Um, why is there is? No, I haven't.
I mean, look, there could be other opportunities for Liverpool down the line. I mean, Leicester 33 you've got, which could turn into a double, but I mean, you could have in theory Leicester away and Tottenham at home in 33, and we'd all regret doing anything on Liverpool now. I think under if that's the circumstance, we'd all wish we'd
What
held it
would
for
need to
Salah,
happen
but
for that to happen?
well, it needs to. It would Liverpool play Tottenham in 34. It would need to be brought forward to the midweek of 33, which it's probably more likely to get pushed back to 36 because presumably you'll be in the Carabao Cup final, Dan, and therefore your fixture with Aston Villa from 29, which is at Villa Park, would get moved into that midweek instead. Unless you tell me that I've actually got a chance at Anfield next Thursday, have I?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? You come and sit
Of
with me
course, you got
every
a
week,
chance.
mate.
It's 11 against 11. Anything can
Yeah, we
happen on
definitely got
any
a
given
chance.
day.
We're just a cup team, aren't we? We're not bothered about the league, Sean. So, if you win and go above us on Saturday, like, we don't care. We won't start sweating until we're like 18th with like 5 minutes of the season to go, mate, basically. Um,
I need to listen to some chip talks too. I mean, I've got all my chips left, so I don't know what the best play is really. The best play to be differential. I want to do as well, not go with the crowd.
I think the recommendation on that basis would definitely be to use something now. So then you are looking at triple captaincy or assistant manager chip, mate.
Yeah, and I don't want to use assistant manager chip
Okay.
on these games. I don't think it's too risky.
Sean, people asking about using it on Moyes now. It's obviously cheaper than going for slot. What's your thoughts on that?
No, I think it's not good timing. I know, like on the face of it, it's going to look like really good timing because of our results, but I think this Leicester game is going to be really, really difficult. Um, Especially finding a way to score goals with Don being out. By the time the Liverpool game rolls round, I'm hoping that we'll have got a couple of new attacking faces in that can help us in that one. But talking about that lot trying to win a title, aren't they? It's not gonna, that's a tough game. You need if you're gonna. I know you can get decent points off a draw, can't you? If because of the placings thing, but you're gonna need us to be beating Leicester because there's no league bonus.
And there isn't for the Palace or United games in the two afterwards either.
Yeah, and then
And I know obviously you can transfer like to another player, but or another
yeah,
manager rather. But I mean, if Palace and United, I said this on Monday's pod, if they were like eighth and ninth, then you can say, okay, right, it's Leicester, and then 3 games with a possible bonus. I get it, but
yeah,
if I'm going with all due respect, if I'm going for a manager and there's no bonus, why am I going to pick Everton?
yeah. Well, you wouldn't, or you shouldn't.
Q4 wins in a row, Sean. Next time you're on COTC, might be talking about European qualification. You never know, mate.
Hey,
Yeah, I'm just not planning to invite you on for a decade, mate. Uh, uh, on that bombshell, I wish you both the very best of luck in the last ever Merseyside derby in game week 24. But before that is games to go. So, Sean, predict
At
the Leicester
Goodison.
At Goodison, yeah.
at Goodison. Yeah, sorry. Where did I say?
Just last Merseyside derby,
Like
full stop.
Ever. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pandemic incoming, people. Sorry. Predict the Leicester game for me, Sean.
The Leicester game, I think, will be 1-1.
Dan, Bournemouth away.
3-2 Liverpool.
Dan, Tottenham Carabao Cup semi-final second leg.
3-1 Liverpool.
Anchor. Sean, Merseyside derby.
Right. Well, last year, I remember saying that Liverpool would win 2-0 and then we won. So because of that, Liverpool will win 2-0.
Do you remember what I said?
I thought you said
Lightning
2-0
don't strike
Liverpool.
twice. What did you say, Dan?
Um,
You
I
can't
don't think we'll
remember.
lose. Either I don't think we'll lose, and I don't think Everton will score. So I think either 0-0 or a 1 or 2-0 victory.
Okay. I was only, by the way, Dan, calling you a wanker because I couldn't believe that you were so reserved in your 3-1 prediction and didn't say something like 5-0. I really appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
No offense.
I'll see you next week. Sean, anything we'll plug before we finish, mate?
No, no, don't follow me anywhere. Just annoying.
Please follow Sean on Twitter and wherever else he is. Dan, anything you want to plug, mate?
Yeah, I know less than Sean, so yeah, keep away from me as well.
That's debatable. Clayton will be with me for the Clayton and James show tomorrow. I got another clash of correspondence for you on Thursday. That's Chelsea versus West Ham with Gary Mantle and Chris Stone. Good luck, Sean, Dan. Thank you, gentlemen. Cue music, please, man. Shout.